Me is I've seen a lot of video recently about Zelensky hitting that booger sugar, maybe hitting that bathroom powder, maybe hitting that pixie stick, the good old pixie sticks. Donald Trump of the USA, in line to be the president of the United States once again if he gets voted in, has said that we are right now on the brink of World War III. We are on the verge, he says. The most important thing that we have to say is that when you see the Russian ships floating essentially off the coast of Miami in Florida in the USA, how did this happen? Putin would not be doing that, he says, if I was president. I had a very good relationship, but also a tough relationship with Putin. I will tell you the most important thing we must do. We must save our country because our country is in trouble. We have a real chance of World War III. Now then we have the State Duma to the country of Russia. That is a centralized institution, basically a government party that makes the laws and has some wartime efforts. They are involved in the creation of laws, the approval of ones, and wartime movements. They have said in their executive branch that the Americans are being put on notice. Arms supplied to Ukraine, including F-16 aircraft from Denmark, will be considered, according to the Duma, a direct sponsor of terrorism. We just had some serious World War III vibes in.
Want to earn cryptocurrency? Try Coinbase.
The recent peace summit, so-called peace summit, we have the Italian prime minister saying if Russia does not agree to the terms of the peace summit, we will force Russia to surrender. Now, if you'll remember, I told you last week that Russia was saying that NATO countries have leaked a plan that will be breaking up China and breaking up Russia into different territories. They'll do this through war and economic division. Of course, America denied this immediately. But then look at the truth leaked through right here. This was during the peace summit. One person, this is the president of Poland, says, I propose Russia is divided into 200 ethnic states. Russia is the world's largest colonial power, which keeps captive 200 different ethnics. So they're right now trying to divide Russia and trying to divide China into these different separate groups. I wonder what's happening in America. What is Russia and China doing to divide our people? Vladimir Putin has said, quote, we have come unacceptably close to the point of no return. And what he's saying right there is the launching of nuclear weapons, mutually assured destruction. Now, there are some understandings that with the new nuclear weapons, we won't have the years and years, decades of fallout that we had with conventional nuclear weapons, but still you're going to see entire countries ruined, not to be inhabited for a very long time. The amount of time just for infrastructure to be rebuilt would see decades-long changes to our entire world. So,
well, this place is going to be totally destroyed. That's what you're not getting. Other cities will be built up in the world, but this place is going to be totally wiped out. All right, but anyway, I want to say shalom. First thing and foremost, I'm going to give all praises and glory and honor is due to Yahweh Ba'ashim, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashim Kapadash. I want to give double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone that rule well. Peace and blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect. Real quick, this is from Full Spectrum Survivor. Basically, he's basically a doomsday prepper / forecaster that pretty much give you updates on geopolitics and tensions around the world. And Trump, he's a advocate for Trump. Like, I read a couple of comments in the comment board, and people was like, well, Trump ain't gonna make it better. And we know Trump ain't gonna make it better, because the minute that Trump is reselected, then that's when you're gonna start to see things start to fall apart even more. Okay? Because this guy Biden, he was set up from the get-go to bring the country into further degeneracy than what it already was, because let's face it, this society this place is fucking through. Okay, this guy Biden got in there and he totally made everything a lot worse than what it was, even though this was a felon system anyway. America has been failing literally since they took the greenback off the gold standard back in '71. So this place has just been circling the drain ever since, and technically after World War II. But regardless of that, everybody's on edge now because they believe that this guy Trump is going to get back in office and this is what they're wanting. But then it came out that this guy Biden may have to step down because he's not fit to hold office, which he never was. He was never fit to lead the country into another world war or just in any direction, period, because he's mentally incompetent. He's senile, okay? The nigga trips over his own shoestrings, shitting on himself, okay? He's saying things that don't make any sense. And then you got DJ Trump as well. I believe he's in a diaper as well, okay? He's not, it's not, I mean, he may be more mentally sound and competent than Biden, but at the end of the day, Trump is not a savior, okay? And Trump, he does not give a damn about the U.S. citizens, especially you damn niggas. See, and this is what Jake don't understand. Oh, man, we got to get Trump back in there. Have you ever thought about just not dealing with this political system, period, because they are not for your best interest? I mean, how hard is it for Jake to see that, yeah, this place has not, they haven't done good to our people, but yet you still want to go down there and support it and vote and do all this other shit, and the fact that you're voting, your vote don't count, you know? That's just an illusion that they give people to make them think that they have a say-so, but they really don't, man. So now he's talking about that they have more advanced nuclear technology that does more damage than conventional nuclear weapons, but the fallout is a lot. The cleanup is a lot sooner, meaning that the radiation from these particular bombs and missiles isn't as detriment as they would have been using conventional nuclear weapons like Satan II, Fat Boy, Little Man, you know, the Tsar bomb, all those particular nuclear weapons, man. Okay, because you have weapons that have particular forms of nuclear capability, but all of them are not ICBMs. Okay, every nuclear weapon is not an intercontinental ballistic missile. Okay, like an atom bomb is considered a nuclear weapon, but it's not intercontinental. You see what I'm saying? It's not traveling from one demographic to another land, like the scriptures prophesied. You see, but nonetheless, tensions among I'll say East, because, you know, get in the habit of saying the Middle East, which is really Western Asia, the East, okay, which is the land of Israel, and then you got Iraq, Iran, you know, that particular region throughout the Mediterranean regions. Then you got the Dead Sea, the Red Sea. You know, those are pretty much what they would consider the Middle Eastern regions, which Israel actually sits in Asia, okay? They say, oh, that's Northern Africa, but if you really look at the continent of Israel, it's really on the continent of Asia, though it do touches Africa. But geographically, if you look up where is the land of Israel located, it will tell you it is located in the continent of Asia, which doesn't mean you Chinese, man. But that's where they get the term Asiatic black man, okay? But doesn't mean you're Jackie Chan with chinky eyes, man. Okay, but anyway, he was basically going into how Trump was making mention that, well, if he was in office, then Putin wouldn't have this type of balls to push forward. But from what I can recall, when you were in office, there was still tensions among you and Russia. Now, they wasn't as high as they are under the Biden administration, but nonetheless, Russia was not your friend. Okay, Russia ain't been dealing with y'all since the time of the Cold War, man. Even beyond that, because whether you had the USSR or the former Eastern Bloc, and then you had NATO that was set up. But basically, Russia ain't really been in league with you Americans for fucking over 50, 60 years, and they never plan to be. Okay, they're just another division among Esau, because Russians are Edomites, but they just don't deal with the West. And that's how Yahweh Bashim and Howard Shah has it set up. So, yeah, World War III, shit, man. I mean, technically, you can say we're in the third world. It's just not nuclear yet, and it will not go nuclear until the MOTB is made mandatory, because once that happens and the U.S. dollar collapses, which is the financial giant of the world, once the U.S. dollar finally collapses, that's when these global markets all around will start to collapse, and nations will go to war behind that, man. Like right now, all the nations are already in play because they see in it. They like, okay, the dollar gonna collapse. We need to position ourselves to be sovereign without America. And this is why everybody is rushing to fill the vacuum of the void, so to speak. Because everybody wants a world without American or Western dominance. Okay, they like the shit is played out. Y'all ran the world for a long time. Y'all have degenerified the world. You know, degenerates, you got momoality every goddamn where. It's like, okay, enough is enough. So, yeah, this thing is coming. All right, so this is the book of Revelation 8. And I'm gonna start at verses. Whole chapter is really good. Yep, let's start at verses 13. It says, "And I beheld and heard an angel flying through the midst of heaven, saying with a loud voice, Woe, 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 woe is destruction." Okay, and it goes into the world wars to the inhabitants of the earth by reason and the other angel or the other voices of the trumpet of three angels which are yet to sound. Okay, now when you go down to Revelation 9, and I'm gonna start at verses 13. It says the sixth trumpet, army from the east. Okay, and we know about the east, what they would consider the Middle East. You got China, you got Russia. Okay, you got which Russia mainly is like, I think in China, Russia's like northeast shit. You know, but then you got China, you got Russia, you got Iran, which Iran is east as well. But anything that's west of the westernized, I mean east of the nations, or anything that's not considered part of the Western Allied forces like NATO and the EU, you can consider that the East, because it's really the East versus West, man. Okay, and within that East versus West, you got North and South. You got Russia, they call it from the North, and then you got Turkey, which is actually a member of NATO, but they're talking about succeeding from NATO. But it says, "And the sixth angel sounded, and I heard a voice from the four horns of the golden altar, which is before the Most High, saying to the sixth angel which had the trumpet, Loose the four angels which are bound by the great river Euphrates," and those are the four archangels. It says, "And the four angels were loose, which were prepared for an hour and a day and a month and a year for to slay a third part of men." And the third part of men is talking about you Edomites, man, mainly in the Western world. Okay, it says to slay a third part of men, because you Edomites, you're gonna get destroyed on this side, and you're gonna come back as slaves on the other side. So it gets worse. It gets worse for you from here. And it reads, "And the number of the army of the horsemen were 200,000. And I heard the number of them, which those are the missiles. Those are intercontinental ballistic, or the ICBMs, the Tomahawks, okay? These are all the nuclear artillery. This is those missiles that it's talking about. Okay, now it doesn't necessarily have to be 200,000 intercontinental ballistic missiles. But when you think about how many warheads a ICBM can hold, like I believe Satan 2 can hold up to like I'm just guessing, I can look it up, but I'm just throwing it out there. I think one of those hold up at like it's a 10 to 12 warheads, if I'm not mistaken. It's been a while since I looked it up, but a lot of these missiles are capable of harboring up to 20 warheads, so you can count that as well. You see, one missile, then 20 warheads shoot off that one particular ICBM. That still counts. That's why he said, "I heard the number." Okay, and thus I saw in the vision. And thus I saw the horses in a vision, which the horses are the missiles, and them that sat on them, having breastplates of fire and jacinth and brimstone, and the heads of the horses, which is the head of lions, and out of their mouths issue fire and smoke and brimstone. And by these three was a third part of men killed by the fire, and by the smoke, and by the brimstone which issued out of their mouths. Okay, so this is the time we coming into. Okay, this is the war to bring Esau's empire to ultimate close. Okay, scriptures say the earth shall rock to and fro like a drunkard. So the nations, or the tensions that we're seeing among the Russians, the Chinese, the Koreans, the Iranians, okay, the Libyans, Turkey, NATO, EU, all these nations, Ukraine, this is where this is getting ready to harbor up to. And let's not forget Syria, okay? But it says here, by these three was the part of men killed by the fire and smoke and brimstone, which issued out of their mouths. For the power is in the mouth and the tails, and for their tails like unto serpents, and had heads, and with them they do hurt. And the heads is talking about the nuclear warhead. Okay. And the rest of men which were not killed by these plagues repented not of the works of their hands, that they should worship devils, the idols of gold, silver and brass and stone and wood, neither can see nor hear nor walk, neither repent they of their murders, nor of their sorceries, nor of their fornications, nor of their thefts. And this is talking about in different countries, man, because this place is going to be totally laid flat. Okay, when the missiles come here, hey, the Lord said he's going to take this place out in 1 hour. 1 hour. That's why it says, "And thy judgment has come, and I will make a speedy riddance of them that dwell in the land." And that's talking about through nuclear war, which World War III would eventually go nuclear. Okay, we kept saying it, and we keep saying it, and we're going to stand on it. All right. This is the book of Revelation 11 and Yep, let's start at Revelation 11, and let's start at verses 13. It says, in that same hour, there was a great earthquake, and a tenth part of the city fell. That's talking about over here. And an earthquake was slain of men 7,000, and a remnant with a fright, and gave glory to the Most High of heaven. The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe coming quickly. So you got to understand that this jumps to and fro, okay? Like verse 13 is talking about the future, our immediate future, Babylon being destroyed. Verse 14 said the second woe was past, so that's more like present day, because the second woe goes into the Second World War. Okay, but the third woe coming quickly, and because technically during the time of the Cold War, people say that World War III started during the time of the Cold War. Okay, the Cold War, it just haven't become a hot war yet, which is getting ready to heat up because the Middle East is on fire right now. You know, but it says the second woe was past, and behold, the third woe coming quickly, which are the world wars. Okay, one last precept, Isaiah 34:1. Come near, ye nations, and hear, and hearken, ye my people. Let the earth hear, and all that is therein, the world, and all the things that come forth of it. For the indignation of the Lord is upon all nations, and his fury upon all their armies. NATO, EU, okay, the former Soviet Union, China. And it says, and he hath utterly destroyed them, and he hath delivered them to the slaughter. Their slain also should be cast out, and their stink should come up out of their carcasses. And the mountain should be melted with blood. And the host of heaven should be dissolved, and all the heavens should be rolled together as a scroll, and all their hosts shall fall down, and a leaf falleth from off the vine, as a fig falling from a fig tree, going into the missiles being detonated. It says, for my sword should be bathed in heaven. Behold, it should come down upon Idumea, upon the people of my curse to judgment, which is you Edomites. The sword of the Lord is filled with blood. It is made fat with fatness, and with the blood of lambs and goats, and the fat of kidneys of rams. And the Lord hath made a sacrifice in Bozrah, and had a great slaughter in the land of Idumea, which basically Bozrah is modern day America, man. This is their capital city, their chief joy, you know. And it says here, and the unicorn should come down with them, and the bullocks with the bulls, and their land should be soaked with blood, and their dust made fat with fatness, which is symbolic for a sacrifice. It says, for it is the Lord's vengeance in the year of the recompense of the controversy of Zion, man. And all the streams there should be turned into pitch, and the dust thereof into brimstone, and the land thereof should become a burning pitch, man. Okay, so the Lord's going to burn this goddamn place, and soon, you see. But anyway, with that, all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. Lord, will you edify into the